Why did you pick Scary Dog?
Because that is how you name teams. That is how winning teams are named. Nobody, like, you don't name somebody like Anxious Bird. No, Angry Bird.
Also, that's
Was that a
angry,
shot at
angry,
Didi?
angry bird.
Am I Anxious Bird now? Like,
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I did not say any such thing. Hello, namaste. Auntie Zarna here with the Zarna Garg family podcast, and 4 Gargs are in the house right now. We're so excited to bring you a brand new episode for the brand new year, and it's gonna be light. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna have an opinion on it. We are 4 today, not 5, because the fifth one, Veer, is in school, and we decided that he should probably finish school, even though he's going to be a business mogul by the time he grows up. But school is school, and we kind of need it. So while we are here, it is Shalab Garg, my husband of 25 years, Wall Street veteran, my daughter, a senior in college, Zoya Garg, my son, who's a freshman in college, Bridge Garg. Today, we are going to talk about a very light and fun topic. It is going to be interesting. It is going to be, you're going to have an opinion on it. What are we excited to watch and hear and read in 2025? What TV shows are capturing our attention? What movies are we waiting for? Do we wait for any movies? What books are we going to read? Of course, not to mention, I have a little pre order plug of my own. But what are we waiting for? What are we trying to do? I know for myself that I'm waiting for a couple of reality shows to come through that I'm excited about because I love watching reality TV. But I want to hear from you guys what you're waiting for.
You know, it's so funny. I just considered that question and I realized you actually have a book, you actually have a movie, and you actually have a sitcom, all three slated for.
it sounds like she just wants everybody to comment the Zarna Garg book.
You know,
I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't think about it, but I do have,
We
and
think-
I also have a reality show coming, which is a whole other.
We know you thought about it, Bob. Don't worry.
No,
We
I
know.
didn't. I did. What? Okay, anyway, what are we excited about? Are we watching the Game of Thrones prequel, sequel, whatever?
Yes. Oh my
I-
god, that show is so good.
I am
Wait,
not.
but it's
What
done
is
now,
Game-
right,
Game of
Rich?
Thrones is
No,
second
it's
of the
called
prequel.
House of Dragons.
But that's also done now,
No,
right?
there's one more season and it's coming out in a while. It's coming out 2026, I think. But it's
What?
gonna be very good.
Why is it taking so long?
Because it's like a very elaborate set. It's like the whole Game of Thrones set. It's like
Okay, all right.
I'm extremely excited for Squid Games season
Oh,
3. It's coming
Oh.
out in June, and that's gonna be. I thought season 2 is very good. Very
Okay, don't
good
tell me
setup.
anything about it. I have not seen season 2.
I'm not going
Don't
to.
give any
I'm not gonna spoil
spoilers.
it.
but why do you
Yeah.
guys enjoy these horrible shows where people just turn on each other and kill each other constantly?
Because they are realistic about life. That is
What
what
life?
life.
What real life do you know where people are killing each other? What are you talking about?
Did you not see what happened in New Orleans just like
But
1
that's
2
not
days
a
ago?
TV. What?
You just said what's happening in real life. where
No,
people-
the whole point is that it's supposed to represent something, right? Like Hunger Games is a killing thing, but it's not representing like killing people. It's representing like capitalism, or it's representing greed and wealth. It's representing different things, and that's like how they express it. It's cutthroat is basically what it's supposed to represent.
Okay,
Express is such a good word, Bridge.
is anybody waiting for anything happy, or that's just something we've given up on? As a
I have chosen no happiness this year and am not watching any TV this year as one of my resolutions.
But there is happy things on TV. What do you mean?
As in, I am very anti-TV. I am really trying to push myself to crave boring activities as frequently as possible. I think boring is in. I think boring is very good for your mind. And I have been my most productive self when I'm boring. That being said, I will be making an exception for Squid Game season 3 because
Oh, great! That didn't last. That didn't last. You know what they call what you're trying to do? There is a name for that. Do you know the name for that?
What?
It is called raw dogging.
What?
It
That
is
is just like a
raw
very.
dogging through life, where you literally like nothing fun, nothing entertaining, nothing. Yes, this is what it's called. But you don't know. And then when we thought you had something, you're like, but not Squid Games. So we're back.
I think the other things I'm excited to do this year is I think I just want to create more. I think there's been this whole culture on social media about how the proportion with which you create to the proportion with which you consume
Mhm.
needs to be much higher on the first one.
Yeah.
And that is not true in my case at all. It
Mhm.
is true in Mom's case, and I think
Yeah.
it's been so amazing to see the positive effects of what that does to a person. Do you want to speak on that? I don't know. I think it's interesting because we're
No,
talking
I
about
mean, I use social media like a business tool. I've been very direct and forthright about it. I create constantly because I want to reach out to my fan base and and connect with people. And I create things that I find joy and happiness in, and that authentic stuff relates directly to people who like my work. So, and I spend most of my time either creating or getting feedback on my creation. I read all the comments. I read, like, I want to know what people are thinking. Like, I personally am not interested in other people's vacations and shoes and bags and hats and all that. That has nothing to do with anything as far as I'm concerned. It's not my thing.
I'm going to take my first medicine this year. I'm, as your mother knows, very opposed to medicine, but one of her doctor friends who I actually like a lot too,
who's been on this podcast.
who's been on this
Yes.
podcast, and he's.
Our friend Dr. Roshan Sethi. What did he convince you of, Shalab?
Can I name the medicine?
Yeah.
I'm going to take a statin.
A statin. Yeah.
Statin that I've not.
That you've resisted for how many years?
Ideally, I should have been taking from 10 years ago because
Hmm.
of my, you know, Indian gene, male, 50, all of that. But to prepare for it, most doctors, cardiologists that I've seen. Now, it's not like I have a huge issue with respect to cholesterol,
Mm.
but it is on a higher end. And because of the side effects, and, it doesn't matter what. And I'm on
Mhm.
this intermittent fasting diet, and I thought that
Mhm.
that's sufficient. But, this particular doctor in question, Dr. Roshan, is probably the most articulate man I've met in my life. Like,
What was so
outside of me, like,
convincing?
I am probably the most articulate man I've met in my life,
Okay.
but after me, he's the second most articulate man I've met in my life.
What was it that he said, did, or was as a doctor that pushed you over the edge? Was it the fact that he went to Harvard Medical School? Is it like the status? Is it the way that he spoke to you? Was there a particular example that he listed? What was it that finally got you there?
I think it was both he was there with his brother, who is also a Harvard Medical School doctor, and his mother, who's also a physician and a doctor. I don't know where she went to school, but also a very intelligent 73 or 74-year-old woman in great shape, which all of them, or the three of them together, but led by Roshan. And there was no just one thing, but just a mix of it all. And I guess they ultimately convinced me.
Yeah, but look, this should not have taken so much convincing. But if people have opinions on statins and cholesterol lowering medication, please tell us what you think. But bringing it back to what we consume for entertainment, I will tell you that the rise of the health podcasts. I myself read a book. I was just looking for it. I'm reading a book right now that I bought at an airport, Outlive, on longevity, because longevity is such a topic that's in the news, and they make now, there's so many TV shows about it. I love watching that stuff. Is that something you guys in the younger generation like, or is it
Okay, what's one thing you learned from this book? Or read in this book?
Okay, we are not going to get into a trolling.
Okay, I'm not. Okay, here's my thing.
Right now, I know where this is going to go right now, and it's about to fall off a cliff.
My thing is that I think that the one thing and as somebody who's very health oriented and loves health oriented podcasts, books, etc., there is this culture now where if you like buy the book or you reference the podcast, like you must be healthy or like you
Yes.
must understand everything about health.
It
You
is
know
the
what I mean?
beginning of the health journey.
And
Yes.
like I'm very against that because you're just being dishonest with yourself about like what you've learned, what you've actually gained.
I disagree. I have downloaded the apps also.
But have you used the app?
That is first you have to download now before you can use it. You like literally don't understand how it is supposed to go. First,
I'm very big into self-help books. I
You
really
are?
like
I
yeah,
love self-help
self-help.
books. Me too.
What
What is
Self-help books are
what is
great.
a self-help book, Bridge?
Like a psychological book on why you're doing something, what you could be doing better, what strategies for success, like different ways to increase happiness or like athleticism, just different things.
do you have a
I
favorite?
just
Bridge, do you have a favorite?
I just read this money book. For some reason I can't remember the name, but I just read it, and it was about like investing and how it's changed over the years, and it gave a lot of interesting facts about like if the person who sold right before 2008, the person who sold during 2008, and the person who held throughout 2008. And actually, it's insane because the person who held throughout 2008 and didn't panic at all had a bigger end outcome since 2020 as any of the other three. So it's just like very interesting to think about like different things when it comes to investing and like how to use your money. So that was like part of the book was actuality and like staying calm. I think a lot of the book was like staying calm when you're investing and not get overwhelmed and think you have to do every single stock, find every single like small like there's one or two stocks every year that boom, right? Like Nvidia or ETH or different things, right? It's like that doesn't happen every year. You're not gonna be the one to find like every single small one. So it's a lot of just staying calm and just trusting the process. And then the other half of the book was like how to position yourself and where you can calmly like invest, how to position yourself so you can do this. And it was just like specific actions you can take to be able to do that. And then I also just read a different one which I didn't like, so I'm not gonna name it just to like give them bad rep, but I read a different self-help book that I didn't like. The one thing when it comes to self-help books that I'm reading, and you have to be very careful about, is a lot of self-help books don't actually tell you anything. Like a lot of them are just very like they have a good title. For example, the one I had read had a really good title, and that's what made me interested. But it didn't actually tell me any steps of how to accomplish that. It didn't. It just basically said you need to do it. But saying you need it, everyone knows you need to do. Everyone knows you need to not watch TikTok. But it's not like how to get off TikTok, right? Like it's so different. And a lot of self-help books are just you need to do it, and this is why you need to do it. But why you need to do it doesn't always help. Like you need specific actions or specific ways to position yourself to do it.
I could tell people, but no one wants to learn from me. But
Wow.
I love self-help book. Can I plug a favorite that I have right now that's in the stores? Arnold Schwarzenegger's book Be Useful.
Oh
I loved it
yeah.
so much.
But
It's his dad's life advice to him about what to do when you don't know what to do. Essentially, just be useful. If you just focus on being useful at all times to somebody, to yourself, to your family, to your work colleagues, if you just make that the north star of your life, then something will emerge from it. Yeah.
But my question is, when you were reading that in the book, did he explain like ways to be useful? What does it mean
He
to be
told his
useful?
stories. He told his story. He's not. It's not self-help in the way that here are 3 ways to be useful, but he gave his
Yeah.
examples of how he grew up and found that he could be useful doing this. So you have to learn from his stories, and I found it very interesting. It was very entertaining to read it, and I think the overall message is very good because it's simple. Sometimes the message can be so complicated that you can't even understand what's going on. Be useful is a simple message. It's a simple way of saying that when you're confused and not knowing what to do, find whatever there is to do around you and go do that. Start with that. But of the TV show, I mean, I like listening to finance podcasts sometimes. We may have a finance
we
podcast coming in our own family, which we're going to be top secret, just teasing right now. There may be a finance podcast spin off coming off of the Zarna Garg family podcast. And we're very excited about that. And no prizes for guessing who's going to be leading it. But I love watching. I like
That
watching
painting that
positive
you see,
things.
just to plug it in,
Yeah.
that is a four-dimensional cube in my background. You see that yellow painting?
Okay.
You guys know what a four-dimensional cube is? That
I
is how
No.
complex my mind is.
Okay.
It
That was insane.
Wait,
That was such an interesting way to
what
explain
are
that.
you like?
That was actually really
the
good.
point is,
I have a plant behind me, and that is how real my mind is. I don't know what. And Zoya has like 0% alcohol behind her. I don't even know what that means.
this is the kind of screen that I look at.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
This is who I am.
okay.
I'm just saying that if somebody knows finance, it is me.
No one is. People are still guessing who's going to launch the finance.
oh my god.
But
I also we're big consumers of MasterClass.
yeah, yes.
Boo.
Love MasterClass.
Bridge, why would you boo that?
So wait, hold on. This is my
Hold on,
question
just
first.
before you launch into your question, I think Zoya was talking about specifically the brand masterclass, not every masterclass in the universe.
Yes. So this is
Yeah.
my question about the brand masterclass.
Yeah.
Do you think that masterclass, their mission is to help people better themselves, or their mission is to make money?
Make money. Yeah.
Make money.
Yeah.
That is their mission. That is like the clear way.
But sometimes the only way you're gonna make money is by delivering really good value. So you can
The
make money
only way
a
that
lot
you
of
make
ways.
money is
Yeah,
to
no,
deliver
I mean,
value.
Everybody is delivering different value, right? Like the person who's selling drugs is delivering value to their client base. But Masterclass is making money because they are creating content that is so compelling. I myself, I learned how to write a screenplay. The first thing I ever did was watch Aaron Sorkin's Masterclass, and I remember watching it and thinking, maybe I can do it. I'm not saying that that class made me a writer, but I remember watching him talk about how he wrote and thinking, it seems like something I might be able to do.
I just the real reason why I like am not like super pro masterclass, and I don't even have that much experience with it. I just get very scared as a person of like people wanting to reflect their lives based off who they like in the world. For example, I like LeBron James a lot, but I'm not trying to become a D1 basketball player and go to the a National Basketball Association, right? And I think there are a lot of people in today's age that look at social media, will love someone, and literally try and mirror like everything they do. Even you before that masterclass were an incredible writer, right? Like it's not like writing was like something you picked up after the masterclass. And I think a lot of people get really swept up with seeing what their people they like are doing and think that that's their path and that's what they're good at too. And this is just a broader like what I think a large amount of people do. That's the only reason why I get scared of stuff like this, because it's so easy to like manipulate someone into buying a masterclass or buying a subscription to masterclass just so they can view like Kim Kardashian, for example, and think they're going to becoming the next like model of the world or selling like Skims or whatever. Like it's just like yeah.
I agree.
And wait, one more thing. Sorry. And the reason why I brought up the money point is because I do think Masterclass 2 as a brand likes to and does exploit people who like don't see the full picture, I would say, and is very happy to exploit those people for a lot of money.
I don't know about that. I mean, Masterclass is very clear about its mission. There's nothing deceptive about what they're doing. They hire people to tell stories at the top level. Like, I understand what you're saying, but I don't know if it necessary. I think 90% of master classes on YouTube and on social media are garbage. That I agree with. Without a question, 99% of people have no clue what they're talking about and they're just out to make money. But Masterclass, the brand, seems to be very clear in its messaging and in trying to recruit the topmost talent to tell their stories authentically. So I agree with you, but I'm not in agreement with it in reference to this particular brand. I
Okay.
would not take a random masterclass from some random person online. I would not do that. And I would certainly not pay money for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? There's so many. Everybody's teaching a class. I mean, that's part of why somebody in our family who will not be named is launching a finance podcast. Because every fool who's never had a career on Wall Street or has never had a job in banking or has never done trading is out there like selling a masterclass on how to do all those things. It is actually completely unethical and wrong. Is misleading people. And somebody in our family who we will not name once again because we keep our cards tight and close to our chest is going to get in the arena and try to do the right thing in that space.
It is easy in hindsight, Bridge, to make that comment that the person who sold before 2008, the person who did not buy
Yeah.
in 2008, and so on. But to go through an event of that kind, and you did go through one event of that kind, which was COVID. Nobody knew when COVID happened that a vaccine would be found 7 or 8 months later. So, yeah, over a very long period of time, buy and hold investing does work.
Mhm.
Why does it work? Because over the course of 100 years, stocks have only gone down 4 times by more than 40%. So, if over 100 years they've only gone down 4 times by 40%, then and have generally drifted up and up and up, then by any time, doesn't matter when you bought, you would have net come out ahead if I've invested in stocks. But as the person, what changes that equation dramatically to me is use of leverage. If you don't use leverage, in other words, use borrowed money to invest in stocks and only invest the $100 that you have and go to sleep with it, then yes, you can just go through with it and over a course of a very long period
Actually,
of time.
that's not even true, Shalab, because life circumstances change all the time. Like,
Life circumstances
not
change all the time,
everybody can hold money for
even
5 years.
unlevered.
Like,
Ask someone who
you
lost
may
their
be,
job in 2000.
yeah, ask somebody who lost their job or somebody who had a kid who got sick or had a tuition payment that they weren't prepared for or a hospital bill that they weren't
That
ready
came
for.
up unexpected. Your mother
Like,
is. So I'm
it's,
saying that that comment made is I would ask the person who wrote what they did in that circumstance. I think track records are important. Like people who give advice should be very willing to acknowledge their own track record before giving that advice
yeah.
with respect to similar situations.
But can we come back to something fun? I am waiting for whatever movie Tom Cruise is making next. I would like to
My
watch a
God, Zarna, he's older than Zoya's dad is.
like yeah,
It's
but
time to
I'm
give him a
excited.
break.
I just want an old school action thriller, like an old school
I don't get the action thriller thing. Like, you love it so much. Like, you've watched every Rock movie. Like, you've dragged us to all the Bollywood fake versions of the Tom Cruise movies. I just don't get it. I've never really been into it. I'm much more into like the
Also,
psychological thriller.
the next Tom Cruise movie will be Mission Impossible 7, the second part of the
Are
first
you
part.
not excited about it, Bridge?
I am. Didi, come on. You're not excited for the next Mission
He's like,
Impossible?
I don't
How
get
can
it.
you not be
He's
excited
like,
for Mission
like,
Impossible? That's like
the
the best
guy-
thing
I
ever.
told you guys that I ruled out TV. It's all
Also, it's
cocaine.
probably not fun to see a 65-year-old man running building to building and place
He
to
doesn't.
place.
He
He
looks like
doesn't
he's
look
20. Like there's
65.
nothing about him that looks 65.
The one movie I haven't seen yet that I am excited to see is I want to see the Timothy Chalamet biopic movie. I haven't seen it yet. Apparently, it was one of his best performances.
I thought you were
Are you
ruled out.
serious? Yeah. What the hell?
No, I'm gonna see it in 2026 when my dopamine.
By the way, I don't know if Animal 2 is coming in
resets.
2025. I'm excited about that.
Oh.
Animal cannot come. It
Animal
just
2,
came
Animal
out.
Park. That's right. That's right.
Animal Park.
Animal Park.
That's what it's called, Animal Park. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
god, most of
Oh,
our
yeah.
viewers probably don't know what Animal is.
Animal is an Indian movie. It's very, very controversial. You should look it up. Animal with Ranbir Kapoor, which we loved as a family.
I
And
love
the
that
music
director.
was-
That director is the darkest human being after Quentin Tarantino. I
Yes.
thought Quentin Tarantino was the darkest human being that lived in entertainment. I
Yeah.
think that director comes very close to
Do
Quentin.
we have any favorite podcasts?
Oh yeah, there's this podcast that this woman created about like navigating your 20s. It's called The Psychology of Your 20s.
Okay.
And it's great. Like
Yeah?
I really really like it. And she breaks down episodes based on like the top things that 20-year-olds are thinking about, like fear about making money, whether or not you should take a corporate job, and I really have been enjoying it. It feels like everything that I'm afraid of, she's already thought of. So I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah. Well, that's the point of the podcast.
I heard this new podcast coming up called Finance Dad. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's
Oh my!
Sneak peek. Sneak peek. I have not heard about it, but Shalab, tell us about it.
It's supposed to be about someone who has had a lot of experience in finance, and he's going to talk about interesting topics, relating to finance, and add some real value to people of all age groups, ranging from 21 to 24, 25 to 35, 45 and up. And it's supposed to be someone extremely good looking too, from what I hear.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know I was doing another podcast, but okay.
No, it's a male.
Oh,
It's not a female.
okay. And is there anything for the spouses of the people who do this?
There are spouses, yes, about Wall Street spouses, it's all kinds of people and all kinds of topics, and all related to finance and Wall Street.
And by the way, speaking of things that are coming up, somebody has a book coming up. Somebody who we
Is this
will
just a
not-
promo? Like this is not a promo podcast.
Me and Bridge
We don't do
can just
charity
listen-
on this podcast.
It
Like
was not supposed to be a promo, but we got pushed in that direction by your dad.
speaking of which, a new program is coming out that me and Didi are creating. It's yet to
Yeah.
be revealed.
It's
So
really
just
really
look
exclusive, and
extremely close to our chest.
yeah, we're playing the cards very close to our
Five
chest.
of us. Listen, I want to know. Honestly, can I just talk about a video game that I miss playing? Slither.io.
Oh
What?
my god! You remember? Yeah.
Slither.io?
They remember
You
when I
were
wrote you that
actually
handbook
really-
on how to beat that game?
It is very imaginative, and it is an allegory for real life.
Should we tell
Oh
the
my
story?
god.
Should we tell the story about how Scary Dog, the nickname, came about?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's so
I don't
funny.
think viewers know what Scary Dog was named.
No,
as.
viewers know what Scary Dog is. I put Scary Dog in every caption letter, everything that I ever written about Mom. We were playing Doodle.io, Scribble.io, and when you join the game, you have to come up with a nickname. And we were all just joining the game, and then Mom was like, "Oh, I'll play," and we were like, "Oh, that's so fun." And Bridge had a funny name, Vera had a name, I was Z Money or something, and then all of a sudden, Scary Dog enters the chat. Like randomly, and it was just the most random, hilarious nickname. Why did you pick Scary Dog?
Because that is how you name teams. That is how winning teams are named. Nobody, like, you don't name somebody like Anxious Bird. No, it's Angry Bird.
Also, that's
Was that a
Angry,
shot at
Angry,
Didi?
Angry Bird is the most popular, or I don't know if it still is, was the most popular Scandinavian video game, Angry
Yeah,
Birds.
but it's Angry Bird. You need it in emotion. You need like a gum. You need like an
Anxious
active
bird.
voice.
Oh,
I
am I
just
anxious bird now? Like,
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I did not say any such thing. But so much to look forward to in 2025. And I can't wait to hear all the things that you are looking
Oh,
forward to in
so funny.
2025. And as we end every episode with a round of good grades with Gargs, so too we will end this episode with a round of good grades where each Garg assigns another Garg an A grade. And I want to know who you assign that A grade to. And then we want to hear from you, our listeners and viewers, who you assign the A grade to. So go. Who wants to go first?
I'm going to go first. I'm going to assign it to Zarna because we say it jokingly, but to have a book and a movie and a sitcom and the reality TV show I didn't know about, but so I'm not going to comment on that. But the other three, all in the same year in 2025, it is a lot. You know, there's this movie from Amitabh Bachchan from the 70s or maybe the 80s called Kala Patthar, and he says, जो औरों ने एक साल 20 साल में किया है वो मुझे एक साल में करना है, which translates into saying that what other people have done in 20 years, I have to accomplish it in 1 year. And your mother really has accomplished all of that
Yeah,
in 1 year.
literally.
Shakti Enterprises. I'll never
Shakti
forget. He wants to create a company for his
Oh,
mother.
it's not Kalapathar, it's Trishul.
It's not. It's Trishul. Yeah.
Trishul, my bad. First of all, apologies to Amitabh Bachchan. It's
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had a hand in how it all played out. I didn't. It's destiny. It's luck. But there is a lot coming, and I'm very excited about it.
I don't have an A grade to give out. I didn't feel like anybody particularly stood out.
What are you talking about? I can give you 3 standout things I said myself.
Sometimes Veer doesn't give his A grade, and in honor of Veer not being here and his.
Yes. By the way,
tradition-
again, we should acknowledge that he was a school poor boy, but every viewer misses Veer. They want episodes entirely around Veer, and for him to not be there is a real tragedy.
it is.
I give my A grade to Mom because I think we have a lot of fun watching like Mission Impossible and the Rock movies.
Yes. Yeah, Bridge. What is that movie with every calamity happens with the Rock? Do you
Oh,
remember
oh
that?
my God! It was San Andreas.
San Andreas.
San Andreas.
Oh my God! Every bad thing that
That
can
was
happen.
like
There's a tornado.
they had
there's a hurricane,
every natural disaster
tsunami,
possible
there's a
in one
fire.
movie.
There's a fire.
Mom,
There's a building catching fire, and he loses a leg. Oh my God!
calamity is also a great word. The podcast has really improved its vocabulary, I have to
We
say.
we have watched San Andreas like 5 times already.
I'm
That
actually
movie is so fun.
I'm gonna give my A grade to Bridge because I thought that his insight about how we have to remember that self-help gurus, books, and podcasts are ultimately businesses. So what you consume, you have to be very careful of and be actually aware of what it's actually giving to you. I thought that was really smart.
Yeah. And I will assign my A grade shockingly to my husband. Even though we are not going to reveal who is launching this finance podcast because we hold our cards close to our chest like that, but somebody in this family is making a very bold move into uncharted waters. It is not easy. It is not fun because there's a lot of anxiety around it. But he and or she is doing it, and I'm very proud of he and or she. While not making it obvious, I am assigning the A grade to Shalab. We want to hear from you guys, our listeners, our viewers, who you give the A grade to. And please, if you enjoy this episode, like, subscribe, and follow. We're going to have so much more programming coming. And if you're following us, you will be the first person to be notified of it. Share this episode with your friends so they too can participate in this conversation. And we can't wait to see you again. Everybody say bye.
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 Bye.